This thing is tiny, and it shouldn't be this fast. I mean, seriously, this thing literally fits in the palm of my hand and still pushes over 100 FPS in games like Battlefield and Helldivers 2. Can you do something like that on a real budget? And the answer is yes. And the best part is, this is not just some random cheap build stuffed into a tiny case. This is actually a smart build. So let's get into it. This little case is honestly one of the main reasons this build works. Because it's cheap, it's tiny, and most importantly, it actually supports the kind of hardware we need. The layout is a spine-style design, so the motherboard goes on one side, the GPU goes on the other, and that's how we get such a small footprint without giving up dedicated graphics. And that's a huge deal. Because a lot of tiny cases look cool right up until you try to put real hardware in them. This one actually gives us a path. Now, of course, when you go this small, GPU compatibility gets tight really fast. Some are low profile, which helps with height, but not length. Some are single slot, but then your performance options get really limited. What we need here is a single fan card that's short enough to fit, but still strong enough to make the build worth doing. It supports GPUs up to around 170mm, which is tight, but workable. And even better, it includes a PCIe riser cable, which is a huge win in a build like this. So right away that saves money and makes the whole project easier. Next up is the power supply, and this is another area where small builds usually get annoying. Because once you leave normal ATX territory, power supplies start getting expensive way too fast. But this case goes even smaller than SFX. It uses a flex PSU. And yeah, these things are tiny. For this build, that actually works in our favor. It fits the case, gives us enough power, and because space is so tight in here, having something compact matters a lot. Cable management in a build like this is way more important than in a normal PC. There is basically no room for extra nonsense. So keeping power simple is a big deal. The good news is, the rest of this build is efficient enough that we don't need anything overkill. Since the goal is to keep this build affordable, AM4 just makes too much sense to ignore. It's still one of the best value platforms for budget gaming. And in a case this small, we just need something compact, reliable, and not ridiculously overpriced. So the choice here is simple, an ITX B550 board. That gives us a strong base, built-in Wi-Fi, decent features, and a solid upgrade path later. And that's really the theme of this whole build. Small, but still practical. Not just tiny for the sake of being tiny. Tiny, but still worth building. Now let's talk CPU. For this build, the choice is the Ryzen 5 5500. You get 6 cores, solid gaming performance, low enough power draw for a tiny system, and enough headroom that the GPU can still do its thing in modern titles. If you ever want to push this build further later, you can move up to something like a 5600, a 5700X, or even an X3D chip if you really want to go crazy. It's cheap now, but it doesn't box you in later. Next up is the memory, and this is one of the few places where budget builds just aren't as fun right now. RAM prices are rough. So to keep this system under budget, this build uses 16GB of DDR4 3600. It's enough to run modern games, and paired with the rest of the hardware here, it still gives you a solid experience. For storage, we've got a 1TB NVMe SSD. And honestly, that's exactly what a build like this should have. Enough space for a decent game library, fast enough to keep the system feeling good, and not expensive enough to ruin the value of the build. Now for cooling, and this is where tiny builds either become really cool, or really annoying. Because once you only have a few centimeters of clearance, your cooler options disappear fast. This case only gives us room for a 36mm tall CPU cooler, which is tiny, so the cooler has to be low profile in the most literal way possible. That means we're using a super short air cooler that fits exactly inside that height limit. Now finally, the most important part in this entire system, the GPU. And in a setup like this, the 3050 actually makes way more sense than people want to admit. Because what we need here is a card that's short enough to fit, cool enough to live in a tiny case, efficient enough to work without extra power, and still capable enough to play modern games at 1080p. But the second you jump to some of those newer single fan cards, the total price of the build starts climbing fast. And then the whole point of this project starts to fall apart. This build is supposed to be small, affordable, and actually realistic to copy. And for that goal, the 3050 fits surprisingly well. But once everything comes together, what you end up with is this ridiculously tiny gaming PC that honestly looks better than it has any right to. It's compact, it's clean, and the fact that there's a dedicated GPU inside something this small still feels kind of hilarious. So let's talk benchmarks. This is where it gets fun, because for something this tiny, performance is way better than most people would expect. In Battlefield, at 1080p low, this build pushes over 100 FPS. And for a PC this size and this price, that is seriously impressive. In Helldivers 2, we're also over 100 FPS. And even in heavier games, the system still holds up better than you'd expect. Stuff like Baldur's Gate 3, Borderlands, and other modern games are still very playable here if you use realistic settings. And yes, some games need help from things like upscaling or frame generation. Fortnite is exactly what you'd hope too. At 1080p performance mode, it absolutely flies. Now, one of my biggest concerns going into this was cooling. Because with tiny builds like this, thermals can ruin the entire idea really fast. But surprisingly, this build handled thermals really well. The CPU stayed under control, the GPU also stayed in a good range, and the whole system ran without needing a bunch of emergency BIOS tweaking, undervolting, or last-minute temperature limits. So, if you've been wanting a tiny gaming PC that doesn't completely destroy your budget, this is honestly one of the coolest ways to do it. It's small, it's fast, it looks awesome, and most importantly, it actually performs like a real gaming machine instead of just being a fun little desk ornament. And that's what makes this build worth talking about.